naked selfies. When you see a man showcasing all his goods on a dating profile, just ask yourself this question: is he doing this because he wants to impress me, a complete stranger, or is he doing this more for his own ego boost? He wants to showcase his body. And yes, I get it. You've been working really hard at that gym and now you want to showcase this. But I guess I would prefer if you showcase that in the privacy of when it's just two of us and not for hundreds and thousands of women to see on an online dating profile. I just think it's incredibly tacky. And a major red flag, if I see a guy with not just one but multiple naked, semi-naked. Yes, I actually have a photo for you here of a man who is absolutely naked on an online dating profile. I hope you appreciate the selection I had there for you. Different body types, ink, no ink, you're welcome. Sexual comments on his profile. Here we have exhibit 1, desire for a thigh gap. Exhibit number 2, a grown man attracted to boobs. Really? Do not, under any circumstances, engage with men like that if you're looking for a long-term relationship. No, no, no. Now, a little disclaimer before we proceed. I want you to take those 15 red flags that I'll mention through this video with a little pinch of salt. And yes, there will be some exceptions. However, I have experience of creating dating profiles for other people where they hired me, and I've also dedicated entire chapters for online dating in both of my books. Oh, and this is a great time to subscribe to my channel. Sexual conversations makes it very sexual at the very beginning. They know nothing about you and it's all about what they want to do to you, how much they like this angle of this photo that you have. I think it's important that you remind yourself, okay, what am I looking for? And if you are looking for a one-night stand, if you're looking for a hookup, then I would really go that route, and why even waste your time? Just do that. Nothing wrong with that if this is your choice. However, if you are seeking a long-term serious relationship, then I would set the boundary. You could say, I don't feel comfortable with this conversation. I think this is a bit too early. I actually had a situation where I exchanged numbers with someone. One of the first messages that he sent me was a half-naked picture in Calvin Klein and all this. And I just said that, look, this is a bit too early on. I'm not interested in that. And then I think he said, you are too much hard work, and he blocked me. I'm really thankful for him that he blocked me, because I didn't have to waste his time. He didn't have to waste his time, because we want different things. I actually do this thing sometimes where I like to test men. Maybe I would throw them something a little sexual, or maybe in between the lines, and I would see, okay, is he going to ride that wave, or is he going to behave himself and be a gentleman? And yes, it's a bit cheeky, but I have to say that my experience show that guys that are able to pass that test and they don't ride that wave, they're just, okay, there is time and place for this. They're usually decent men. He absolutely did not take the time to fill his profile. What you have to understand is that when you are a woman swiping on a dating app, you are going to click on what? 10% of men. Meanwhile, for a man to get a woman's attention is not going to be that easy unless he falls into that 10% category, which the majority of men, they can't do that because there's just 10% of those men. Now the rest of them, they have to be creative and they have to think, okay, how can I put myself out there? What kind of things can I write? How can I fill my profile so a woman is interested? And tell me if I'm wrong, but you can be someone who is maybe not that attracted to this guy, but he said certain things that shows his values, shows his views towards life, shows his aspirations, maybe some sort of free time activities that he's doing, and you're thinking, well, I'm not sure I'm that attracted to this guy, but our view towards life is similar, so maybe I could give him a chance. However, if a man took absolutely no time to add this information and all you see is just lousy photos, then it's probably the reason for that is that he's not looking at this endeavor of finding a partner on a dating app in a serious kind of way. And I'll talk more about certain things that you can pay attention to establish who's looking for a serious relationship and who definitely isn't, so you don't waste your time. He has skipped his relationship goals. One of the first things that you always see when you are setting up your online dating profile is that you will have probably multiple choices what you're looking for: long-term relationship, short-term relationship. Now you can even see monogamy, many other things. There are actually people that you will come across on online dating sites who openly tell you that they are currently with a partner and they're looking for that plus one to the couple that they already have. So when someone intentionally skips that part, do you think it's more likely that this person is looking for a long-term serious relationship, maybe potentially marriage? Or are they looking for something else and maybe they're already involved with someone? Yes, there are always exceptions to rules. Some people don't have great attention to detail, but if you come across someone that you are thinking, oh, I really like this person, and it's very easy to find that out if you started talking to someone and you see that they have skipped this detail, you can just ask them, what are you looking for? And if they are looking for a serious relationship, they will tell you. If they're not, they will tell you as well. Will they tell you the truth? You don't know that, but that's your job to find out things. You have to stay vigilant because you have to understand that there are a lot of men on online dating sites and apps that are using those platforms for their ego boost. They may be in a committed relationship, they may be even married, and whether they're doing that through their work hours, after work, you may think that you have found someone who's the best thing after sliced bread, but he may be just entertaining you while he's actually involved with someone long-term, living with them together. And I know it's extremely painful when you find out yourself in a pattern where you keep attracting one unavailable man after another. Make sure that you check out videos on my channel all about that. He skipped his family situation section. He is not telling you whether he's got children, whether he doesn't have children, whether he wants to have more children, what are his plans, aspirations. Usually it's someone who already maybe has children but doesn't want to tell you that. Maybe he thinks that if he puts that he has children, he is less likely to attract the person that he would like to attract, because some women don't like to engage with men that already have children. I personally think that if a man is 40 plus, I would prefer someone who maybe is divorced and even got children than someone who's never even lived long time with a woman, because I really have no patience for these mommy boys. Do you like this guy? Cute. I saved it for you. Funny guy, this one. He sounds negative on his profile, and you can also pick up his unresolved previous relationship things that he's displaying there. This guy clearly went out with someone very pretty who likes a lot of attention. That was not his thing, and there's no way he wants to be with someone again where he has to pay for dinners, nights out, and things like that. So you see this and you're like, okay, let's move away from this guy. Or we have, clearly had some sort of PTSD thing happening with Sagittarius. I actually like Sagittarius people. I think they're a lot of fun. So then we have this exhibit who prefers a natural beauty, tells everyone that his ex used to take hours to get ready. Oh dear me. Oh dear me. I actually can get ready very fast. Fast. I don't know, I can just do that. And then I did this little experiment again for the sake of research for you. I hope you really appreciate that. If you appreciate that, like this video and also remember to subscribe to my channel. So I responded to someone who comes across as very negative, talking about the cleavage, tattoos, strippers, you name it, not his vibe. Okay, I see you. So I thought, okay, what happens when you respond to a negative guy like that? And then I got lectured on my reproductive system and my fertility. Well, Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Low effort conversations. Yes, low effort conversations may mean that he's just not very good at messaging. Maybe he's much better in person. But if that's the case, he will tell you early on that, you know what, I prefer to meet in person. However, it could also be that someone who is putting very low effort into the conversation is someone who is not very interested in other people, but he's more interested in himself. So he's used to women asking him questions and putting all the effort and driving this whole thing. You will also very often notice that this kind of man, most of his pictures will be very posed, pouty kind of selfies. That's just my personal observation, something that I've noticed. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Another online dating red flag is that he's not making plans to meet. He could be calling you, he could be texting you, good morning, darling, every morning. And he may even be very consistent with his messaging and his communication, but there is no actual plan when you're going to meet. He's planting little seeds of hope in you, telling you what you're going to do, maybe once you meet, what he's going to do to you once you meet in person, how he cannot wait to meet, how great it's going to be, but there is no actual plan for that. And there could be many reasons for that, but the reason could be that he's not as available as he's telling you, and maybe he's a full-time husband, a full-time boyfriend, and again, he's just using online dating for his ego boost. He's bored, he wants some validation, he's not getting the attention that he wants from his partner. Could be many reasons. So I think it's very important before you get truly invested into someone, you start fantasizing about your future together, that you meet first. He refuses to FaceTime. I'm not saying that you are being catfished, but if you are talking to someone, for example, at 9 p.m., you are texting each other, he's telling you all these reasons why he's busy. Maybe he even mentioned a few times how his Wi-Fi is off. Yes, in 2023, his Wi-Fi has been off for the last 3-4 weeks. I know, Virgin Media, TalkTalk, and all these providers, they can be terrible, but really, all this time, you had no time to do this. So if this happens, I would just be extra cautious. By the way, I really recommend having either a phone call or FaceTime before your first date. I think it's a great way to not waste your time by going out with someone that you don't like, because one of the ways you get attracted to a man is by hearing his voice and hearing his diction. So I think hearing his voice is a very important thing before you actually meet the guy in real life. He's getting invested very early on. That's someone that you not even had a chance to meet in person, face to face, but he is already declaring love, telling you how you are the woman that he's been searching for his whole life. Where have you been all my life? Where have you been all my life? I know the song, but who sings that? Oh, Rihanna, okay. Just use common sense. How can someone, based on 5-6 photos of you and some sort of silly thing that you added, feel that you are a woman that he's been searching for his whole life? Well, clearly this person is not right in his head, right? Definitely. Which gets me to another major red flag, is that he's telling you he will make you rich. Maybe he sent you a link to an app and he said, just open this app and you will have money there. Yes, you open the app and you can already see that money is coming into your account, and he's telling you about all these investment opportunities and how he can make you rich, sending you these screenshots. No. Online dating, finances, These are two different things. We do not mix them together. I have a video on my channel about this major scam that happened to someone that I knew. And I think we've also learned a thing or two from Tinder swindler, right? Have you learned things from Tinder swindler? Mentions his ex. So it's either someone who mentions his ex on his dating profile. By the way, this guy on his profile, he had, I think, 3 things on his profile that were talking about his ex. So I'm just thinking, how can someone be so unaware? Are you an idiot? An absolute idiot. Or maybe this person, you start talking to him and he says something about his ex, but very, very early on. I'm talking the first 5 messages. I just think something is really off and I would not engage with this person. He's clearly not over his ex. There are some sort of unresolved issues and I personally wouldn't want to deal with that. Every photo has him holding an alcoholic beverage. Yes, certain people, for them socializing equals drinking, so you have to ask yourself, is this something that I want? If you're looking at someone's profile and every photo they have, or the majority of photos, they are holding a drink, and these are the only times where they had an opportunity to take a photo, you have to ask yourself, okay, can I see myself part of this life? Can I see myself part of this world? And if not, maybe this is not the person that you should be going for. He invites you to his place on the first date, or maybe he invites himself to see you at your place on the first date. I think it's a major red flag unless you're looking for a hookup, unless you are looking for a one-night stand. Otherwise, I would stay away from people like that. Now, guess what? There are certain things that you are doing and certain red flags that your dating profile is full of. Something I talk about in this video here. Please like this if you found it useful. Subscribe for more, share with your girlfriend, and thank you so much for watching.